Outlander, Blood of My Blood showrunner Matthew B. Roberts and executive producer Meryl Davis explain why the prequel changes a fan-favorite original character. Instead of focusing on Claire Beecham, Katrina Balfe, and Jamie Fraser, Sam Heughan, this series revolves around their parents. Julia Morriston, Hermione Corfield, and Henry Beecham, Jeremy Irvine, are Claire's parents, while Ellen Mackenzie, Harriet Slater, and Brian Fraser, Jamie Roy, are Jamie's parents. The series utilizes a World War I and 18th century Scotland timeline, and the latter features a younger version of the Outlander fan-favorite character, Myrta Fitzgibbons Fraser. During an interview with Screen Rant for Outlander, Blood of My Blood, Davis and Roberts explain why the prequel's Myrta, Rory Alexander, feels so different from the version played by Duncan LaCroix in the original show. They emphasize that the key difference is that the younger Myrta has not had his heart broken yet. Check out their comments. Meryl Davis: I mean, for me, it was Myrta, only because I don't know why. I went into this thinking, oh, we're casting grizzled, curmudgeon-y Duncan LaCroix in a younger version. And it wasn't until Matt had a conversation about when we were talking about the character, and it suddenly became clear that this is the Myrta before he's had his heart broken. This is the hopeful wingman, and Rory has just stepped into this role, and he's so charming. Myrta is so likable, and Myrta was always likable. I mean, everyone loved Myrta, but he's likable in such a different way that people are like, oh my god, this is optimistic Myrta, who wants to fall in love. And I also love how we play the bromance with Brian. I think that's been really beautiful and surprising in some ways. Matthew B. Roberts: and I think you get locked into that Myrta always loved Ellen, and in the books, he dies so early on. He dies really at the beginning of Book 3. And Book 2 takes place in so many different places that you don't spend a lot of time with him. So, in that, there's not a ton of Myrta's story. All we know is that he loved Ellen, and for me, looking back on it, is maybe that love for Ellen actually flowed more through Brian. And I mean that in a very brotherly cousin way, that he was really dedicated to that friendship so much that it kind of spilled over. But I think he obviously had eyes for her in the beginning. What this means for Outlander, Blood of My Blood. Rory Alexander, Myrta Fitzgibbons Fraser, leaning against a tree in Outlander Blood of My Blood. 1. One of the greatest opportunities in any prequel is to explore new facets of a familiar character, and this is exactly what Outlander, Blood of My Blood does with Myrta. Since Myrta has not had his heart broken yet, he is optimistic and still has a romantic view of the world. Despite these significant differences, his likable charm and loyalty ensure that the fundamental traits of the character that fans know and love are still present. With Brian, there is also an element of bromance that fits well with this younger version of Myrta and his more optimistic and romantic outlook on life. As explained by Roberts, how the younger Myrta is different also ties back to changes the original show made from the Outlander books. Myrta lives much longer in the show than he does in the novels. This allowed the original series to explore him further, which set a precedent for the prequel to do the same despite a lack of source material. Our take on Meryl Davis and Matthew B. Roberts' comments. Myrta and Brian in Outlander Blood of My Blood. Even though Blood of My Blood's Myrta may initially feel jarring, the depiction makes sense at this point in his character's life. LaCroix's portrayal throughout Outlander's seasons is now even richer after getting to see Myrta's relationship with Brian and what he was like before Ellen broke his heart. Myrta dies in Outlander Season 5. Myrta's arc now feels more complete than it ever did before, and that feeling will likely only be further heightened as his story continues in Outlander, Blood of My Blood Seasons 1 and 2. Thanks for watching.